Darkness surrounds you. Buried beneath heaps of rubble, your ears are still ringing from the explosion. You can't move your legs. Broken? A red light illuminates the inside of your armor as your onboard computer scans your body. No fractures or injuries to vital organs found, come the benign voice of your computer. Great, so I'm just trapped here until I starve or thirst to death. You have 2 days of reserve hydration, the computer reminds you. Switch off, Joe, you say, and the computer wishes you well before a click and then silence. You just need to think. You try your legs again. Not even an inch of movement. Your left arm is mostly trapped too, and that means your rifle's out of play. You doubt you held on to it anyways. You think about the grenade at your hip, but there's no way to get at it. Wouldn't do much good in this situation. The rubble might blast away, but so would your body. You've stayed in one piece thus far. Better to keep it that way. Your right arm has some mobility. No, it's completely free from the elbow down. A beam of light comes through a crack in your makeshift tomb, drawing your attention from your current predicament. Only about 50 yards away, you can see your ship, the Fowler, sitting intact, serene. A figure scurries through your field of vision and walks up the open loading bay onto your vessel. The bounty! What's that scum think he's up to? Trying to leave you stranded? Won't get far. Only you can start the Fowler. Still, you can't let him mess around and damage your ship either. If he does, then you're both marooned. What would the League say? Cazatriste, outwitted by a spoiled brat. But how? How do you get out of this situation? Racking your brain, you search for any past experience, anything that could lead to your freedom. The infiltration on Ballantine? No, that was a cave-in, but you weren't pinned down like this. The assassin on Teagle? Close, but your arms being constricted by vines doesn't quite have the same feel as being entombed under tons of rock and debris. The revenge bounty on the Ember Moon. That's the one. Petrie, a real dreg of the universe, murdered several people across multiple systems, including the son of Tal Intik, one of your favorite clients. The Galactic Peacekeepers didn't want to touch the case since the villain was basically killing off known criminals. Petrie was doing them a favor is what Intik had told you. Probably in on it. He'd remember that slight, but first he wanted revenge. Alive, though. Killing Petrie was unacceptable. Intik wanted him to suffer for murdering his son. But first you had to capture him. You tracked Petrie to Del Ro, a small red moon in the Xanth system. The moon was nearly devoid of life, and there was only a few mining facilities present, mostly a forgettable orb, except for its sand, which glowed when in shadow or darkness, creating the appearance of a dying fire across the landscape. Hence the nickname, Ember Moon. You set the Fowler down just as the sun was setting. The sands, which before were just rust-colored, came to life as the sun disappeared below the horizon. The glowing earth beneath you dazzling your eyes, but this wasn't some sightseeing tour. The lack of life made it easy for you to pick up a heat signature for Petrie, only a few clicks west from your landing spot in a crater surrounded by some mountains. You decided to take your speeder to avoid being seen. The air felt heavy for a desert moon, almost as if the earth beneath you was pulling at you, not gravity, like an entity. Coming to the mountains, you navigated through a narrow path, keeping the engine on low setting to limit any noise. Even with Petrie's heat signature putting him on the other side of the range, he felt wary of any traps the fiend may have laid. A couple of creatures, rat-like in appearance, their fur long and eyes a glowing green, scurried out of your way as you navigated the path, none of them much bigger than your forearm. As you neared a bend in the path, you noticed a boulder trap. Trouble for someone on foot, but you glided past it easily on your vehicle. Finally, you came to a clearing in the path. You could see Petrie in the flesh for the first time. The thin reptilian figure must have not been eating well. He wore no shirt and his skin clung tight to his bones, revealing his ribs and spine. His face seemed sunk in, too, at least compared to the image you had on file. The gray, scaly exoskeleton that plated his skin reflected the glowing sand, creating the effect of an eerie luminescence beneath his jowls and eyes. The forked tongue hung from his snout as he cracked the body of one of the rodent-like creatures he just caught. Raising it above his head, he dropped it into his mouth and gnawed on the lifeless creature, slobbering and chewing ravenously until the meal disappeared down his throat, bones and all. This was too easy, you thought. His physical state and the fact he was nowhere near cover made it so stealth was not essential. You revved your speeder engine, drawing his attention, and descended down the mountainside at full throttle. The emaciated monster stood frozen, almost helpless as you approached. Perhaps he welcomed the opportunity to be free from his life on the run, you thought. Unfortunately, Petrie was not as bad off as you had surmised. In fact, he seemed to be prepared for any would-be attacker. As you came close, he drew in a deep breath and puffed up his body into its usual form, revealing a much more muscular and healthy physique. You swiped at him with your stun stick as you passed, but the reptilian fugitive easily avoided it, leaping just out of your reach. His aim was not so poor, as with a swipe of his tail, he ejected you from your seat. Without a driver, the speeder slowly stalled to a halt. Meanwhile, you tumbled along the glowing sands until you suddenly came to a stop. A wet and viscous stop. You shook your head and realized you were in some kind of pool of yellow liquid. You didn't have time to scan it as you immediately felt a pulling sensation, like with the air before, but much more forcefully. The pool of liquid was trying to suck you down into it. You reached for something to grab hold of, but only the glowing sand was within your grasp. You felt your body slowly being pulled back and down towards the middle of the pool, already waist deep and unable to fight against the pool's hold on you. "Looks like someone's in trouble," Petrie lisped out as he watched you from a distance, your body nearly chest deep in the pool now. "Should have been more careful. Won't be long before the pool absorbs you." You didn't want to think about what that meant, and didn't have time anyways. Petrie swung his tail around at you, but missed as you ducked your head, the protuberance nicking the top of your helmet. A smattering of scales shattered off the end of Petrie's tail, and you noticed there were several fresh spots from earlier when he knocked you off your speeder as well. By now, you were up to your armpits in the yellow sludge, and you could see signs of corrosion on your armor as you looked into the pit. It was digesting you. Was this the moon, or some giant organism attached to it? "You got lucky with that one," Petrie lisped out. "Won't miss again. Enjoy being liquefied." As Petrie wound up his tail, you let go of the ground. You felt the pulling surge as though the pool knew you'd released your hold, but you were just quick enough, activating the grappling hook in your right armlet as you sank to where just your head and arms were free. The hook and wire blasted out and connected with Petrie's exposed skin, piercing through the tail. Freshly harpooned, Petrie recoiled in pain, jerking away from you in the pool. The motion pulled your body from the oozing creature, and you wasted little time, detaching the wire from your armlet and rushing forward to tackle Petrie. As you smashed into him, the remnants of the yellow ooze on your armor seemed to transfer itself over to his unprotected body. Must have desired feasting on organic material more than attempting to work its way through your body armor. Petrie writhed on the ground, unable to fight back, the yellow liquid burning his skin for a few moments before dying off, leaving a smoking mess of Petrie as he lied before you. He was a patchwork of gray scales and burning pink skin. Even in your armor, you could smell the awful odor. You doubt he needed it, but you still hit him with a stun stick to be safe. Carelessness and bravado should never be repeated once one has been humbled, the words of Aleph echoing in your mind. He wriggled a bit after the strike before going completely limp, his body regressing back to the thin, emaciated one you had seen at a distance. "Always be sure with your strikes," you say as Petrie's eyes rolled over and then shut. You're blind in your aim, but knowing there's plenty of trees around, you brace yourself. "Activate the grappling hook, Joe," you say, hoping things go well. You feel the projectile spring from your armlet and then the pressure of an impact against something solid. Success! You take a deep breath, knowing that this is going to be a lot less comfortable than being pulled out of some organic ooze. Steeling yourself, you give the command. "Full force retraction, Joe!" Immediately, you feel a force pulling your body forward. You're halted at first, the rubble not wanting to give, but your suit is determined to free you, amping up the pressure by which it pulls you. You feel as though your body might split in half, but finally some pieces of stone start to give. The largest barrier to your freedom, a slab as large as yourself, topples over, and you come bursting forth from the now gaping hole so fast you worry you'll slam into whatever you're tethered to. Luckily, the suit knows to let up, and you just come to a halt in the dirt and mud of the jungle planet. You lie there for a moment, thanking the stars that you're free. Scan for injuries, Joe. None found. Great. Now to find that bounty and get off this planet, you say, coming to your knees, but before you can start a scan of the area, you're met with the barrel of a gun pointing at your face and two spears pointed at your throat.